I am recording. Ba ba ba.
I am recording. Ba ba ba.
I am recording. Ba ba ba.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 591st episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I am here. I am getting really, really worried about being able to get my seasonal Master Ball in Pokemon Go. I still have 39 raids I need to do, and I have, I think, 7 days? 8 days?
You can do it. I believe in you.
So you're saying you didn't go hard on Mega Garchomp Day?
I did not. It was rainy. I got help from people in the Slack and was very, very grateful. But I only did enough to get the energy to Mega Evolve.
Got it. Greg, do you also have 3,000 Mega Garchomp energy like me?
Oh, I did nothing but chomp yesterday. I chomped from one side of this town to the other. It was just like a Pac-Man running through Minneapolis.
Perfect.
That's what I did.
You did the right thing and not went to Mall of America because it was ungodly busy for some reason.
It's
holiday.
Because it's before the holidays and people were out running every errand they possibly could in prep for the holiday.
Already?
Oh, yeah. So, like, if you don't have a guest table and chairs, you're not going to do it the week of Thanksgiving. You're going to do it now.
That's
If
the
you don't
problem.
If you're
have an
organized.
outfit to wear to Thanksgiving for reasons, because that's what people do.
Are you a Friendsgiving person, Greg?
If my entire family wasn't here, yes. However, my entire family is here. All of my in-laws and my immediate family, my brother, his family, and my parents. So as much as I would like to maybe not spend time with my family on a holiday, that is not an option.
I thought Friendsgiving was like the week before.
No.
It can be.
It can
be.
But generally, Friendsgiving is for people who have nowhere else to go on a Thanksgiving holiday, so they gather together. But like, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving twice. That's like it's not even that big of a holiday. It's not that important of a
Yeah.
holiday.
You don't want turkey twice?
I mean, I like turkey, and I would make turkey twice, but like, there's a lot more that goes into that than just making a turkey.
Hey, there are restaurants that you can order a whole Thanksgiving meal from.
Yep. You sure can. And my mother is, I believe, this year deciding that's.
Well, speaking of turkey, it makes you sleepy, and it is week 11 of us,
That's
maybe
not
12
true.
of us playing Pokemon Sleep. That was an okay transition.
What?
I mean, if it was true, but turkey doesn't make you sleepy.
I thought that's what everyone says.
No, they're wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's what everybody says, but they're wrong.
Doesn't pretzels make you sleepy?
I think
Like-
it's just the filling food part.
It's just the carb overload part for Thanksgiving that makes you tired. But also, which type of pretzels? Soft pretzels or crispy pretzels?
Oh, I don't know. I have
But
no
so
clue.
you can't bring up scientific literature if you didn't read it.
Pistachios make you sleepy. Pistachios have natural melatonin.
Oh, okay. It is wild to me that we're 3 months,
Oh,
maybe
Google, thank you for helping me.
4 months
that's
into
what I wanted.
Pokemon Sleep, and it has more news than any other video game happening, any other Pokemon game at least. There's sleep news here, so we'll just get that out of the way. First bit of news is Onyx and Steelix are appearing in Pokemon Sleep. They will be in the how do you say this? Top hollow.
Top hollow, I think.
Top hollow.
I mean, isn't it supposed to be based off the color, which means it's taupe?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Taupe.
that.
Yeah, taupe. That will start on the 14th of November. I think most hardcore Pokemon Sleep players like refuse to leave Greenlands or the beach. Those are like the two most popular places because it's good berries, good Pokemon spawns. Like no one wants Geodude anyways.
There's so much more than just Geodude there.
No one wants Riolu because that's also bad.
You get all of the Jigglypuff in Topalo.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I already got a 99 out of 100 Jigglypuff or whatever.
Apparently pretzels do make you sleepy, or can make you sleepy.
Is the soft ones or the hard ones?
It seems to suggest that it is the soft ones. It says the staple ballpark snack, and the one at that ballparks are soft. They're a source of carbs because carbs can make you sleepy, but they have a lot of magnesium in them, which is needed for quality sleep. So it helps prevent magnesium deficiency, which is known to make it harder to stay asleep. Is this accurate? It
There are a
sounds
lot
like
of different
the 80s
types
when
of
we never needed
magnesium.
milk.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Topalo and the wonderful creatures you can find there, all of which are valid and vital for your sleep experience. If you wish to have a Riolu on your team, go for it.
I mean,
There's
yeah,
no
if
min-maxing
you like
in this
Riolu.
game. It's going to reset in a week anyways. Invite your little friends to spend the night with you. Who cares? It's your life.
There absolutely is min-maxing in this game.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm punching Pokemon in the calculator left and right. Okay, so Onyx and Steelix are coming to the game. There's also an Eevee event. Eevee Week 2023 will begin at 4 a.m. on November 20th. So not this week. Assuming you're listening to this podcast, the week of the 13th, the following week. This event is to celebrate Eevee Day, which is November 21st, during which Eevee and its evolutions are more likely to gather for sleep. You'll be able to encounter different Pokemon of different sleep types, regardless of your own, and Eevee and its evolutions are more likely to appear. And if you're lucky, you might even meet a shiny Eevee. It didn't say if you're lucky trainers, so Niantic didn't write this.
But are you trainers in this?
Yeah, I
people
guess
who
you're
are
not really a
sleeping.
trainer.
I think you're researchers.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, researchers. Also, if you can conduct sleep research on Eevee Day, which is November 21st, you can get 1,121 bonus sleep points. You can get a nice reward like an Eevee incense through special missions, which will be available in addition to the usual missions. And during Eevee Week, all your helper Pokemon's main skills will have a higher chance of being triggered. We hope you enjoy this great work from your helper Pokemon. And it doesn't say that you have to sleep specifically anywhere. So that's nice.
You can stay in Topalo and keep looking for that Steelix while also enjoying the Eevee event.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So this we'll circle back here because this leads into some other Pokemon news, which is there's an Eevee event in Paseo, which is the Penny and Sylveon arrive in Masters EX. Get ready for this festivities. It's supposed to be festivities. It's not good.
No. Puns are bad.
Trainers are all over are gathering to show their love for evolution Pokemon by showcasing their partner, Eevee, and its evolved forms. There is one Eevee superfan from Paldea who is a bit shy to get in on the fun, though Penny, who loves all things Eevee but is also nervous about meeting new people face-to-face, aka most people listening to this podcast, even though she is committed, mostly me, even though she's committed to try to become a new version of herself on a unique island of Paseo, and her sync pair is Sylveon. Which I guess, like, Valerie's sync pair should probably be Sylveon, because she was the first gym leader to have Sylveon, but...
Valerie's sync pair is Sylveon.
Oh. Wait, is Valerie in the game?
Yeah, twice.
Oh, yeah. Has been for a long time.
Has been for a chunk.
I don't think I've ever pulled her.
Oh, yeah. She's there. Also, Penny's voice threw me for a loop. We had this conversation before we started the show. I'm having it now. She's got a slight British accent, which is fine, but her voice is softer than I probably expected it to be.
Yeah, her British accent makes sense because she's from Galar, but I would describe her voice as fluffy.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Sword and Shield
Treasure.
remix confirmed. She's from Galar. We're going to Galar because it's really
Yeah.
because Spain is really close. This is what all we're going back to Galar then, right?
No, we already know we're going back to Unova. They already said it's Unova.
Oh, okay.
We already know.
But
we're going
what
back to Unova.
about Kalos? Everyone told me we're going back to Kalos.
We have Kalos people and Masters. I'm pretty sure. Yes.
So
we do.
so playing Pokemon Masters, Kalos confirmed for Scarlet and Violet. Okay, all makes sense.
Kalos is confirmed as a region that exists near these other regions.
Got it. All right. Thanks for clearing that up.
No problem. Yeah. So, in the comments, comment about whether you like her voice. Nemona's voice
Nemona's voice is
Solid.
on point.
solid. I am not sold on Penny's voice yet. I'll get there. It just felt weird. I was expecting much more of a hybrid Spanish-English type thing. It's just pure fluffy English, which is fine. It just feels weird. I don't know.
I don't think she spent that much time in Paldea.
Enough to get kicked out.
Wait, who got kicked out?
Penny.
Wait. She went to Paldea, got kicked out, and then came back?
Yeah.
What?
Main storyline.
The main storyline?
Wait, when did she come back? Wait, how did she get kicked out to begin with? Did she just
Because
never graduate?
She caused the upright. Did you not pay attention to this game?
No, did she? She doesn't get kicked out. So she got kicked out before our character comes?
Yes.
No, I don't remember that part. I just remember her like hacking into the thing at the end, and then it was like, I'll hack my records to be good or something.
I don't remember her specifically getting kicked out, but it was definitely at least something like that.
Yeah, she got kicked out. She got kicked out because she decided to leave because she organized everybody to not be bullies, and then she went back to Galar to spend a year away, and then she sneaks back. Not really sneaks back because you run into her, but she comes back from being away for the year, and then is hacking the system to make up for the problems that she caused by forming Team Star and letting them loose upon the universe or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Because she's part of the STEM program, and then the whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yes, she gets kicked out and then comes back.
So, anyways, we have the Pokemon Sleep Eevee event. We have the Pokemon Masters Eevee event. We've been doing this show for a decade. And I feel like the last couple of years, we haven't really talked about a specific Eevee day. But that's a thing. If
It
you
is a thing.
Didn't know that. The farthest I could go back was finding that the Eevee Day was official as of 2018.
Yeah, that's what I have.
So I couldn't find anything before that. But apparently on 2018, November 21st, 2018 was the first ever Eevee Day becoming official. I did go back. Look, we could spend the next hour going back of old Eevee Day events. There has been a lot. Like Masters has pretty much done something Eevee related every year. I maybe that's why the Eevee outbreaks were not outbreaks. The Eevee raids were like one of the first raids in Scarlet and Violet. It was kind of close, but I guess I didn't put that together. But you could maybe stretch and make an argument for that. But there's been a lot of Eevee stuff. There was like a whole Eevee dedicated Twitter account that people thought meant that new Eevees were coming. No, it just Eevee is very popular. Surprise.
Eevee is popular.
So with that being said, we have a Pokemon Sleep Eevee event coming. We have a Pokemon Masters Eevee event coming. I'm going to assume that there's going to be a Scarlet Scarlet and Violet Eevee event coming, whether that's just recycling the raids that we've already seen. It's been a year, so it's really easy for them to be like, okay, well, you had to have the game within like the first month in order to do those Eevee raids. So I could see them doing.
Remember them.
It was just 5-star. No, it wasn't even 5-star Eevees. I think they could be in 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah,
and they could just be random Terra types.
Barely remember it was a thing.
I can't remember if that was before or after Charizard. I think it was before. I think it was the very first event, and then Charizard was the second event.
That sounds about right. I know that it wasn't one I was interested in because it was just the Eevees with different Terra types.
I remember catching one of each and then being like, this might matter. And then I think I used like one of them for something.
It was before everybody figured out how easily you, quote unquote, easily you can change a Terra type, I think.
Oh, yeah, because I think at that point it wasn't revealed that you could change a Terra type. Because on the show we were talking about like how easy or hard are they going to make this for Terra Pokemon. So yeah, I expect them to announce something for Scarlet and Violet and something for Pokemon Go. I don't think as of this recording anything for Go has been announced, Eevee related.
No.
Now that there has been 2 mass outbreak events, it would be cool to see like an Eevee mass outbreak. I have played this game every day for a full year, and I don't think I've ever seen an Eevee outbreak. I've seen a Vaporeon outbreak one time. That was cool, but I didn't do it. But I saw it, and I was like, look at them Vaporeon.
Look at them. Look at them go.
They're over there.
Vaporing. Vaporman's on its way.
Vaporman. I think Hannah said this a couple episodes ago, but as much as I liked, I think this is what she said, Hannah, you can correct me. As much as I liked the Halloween event, I liked the Clefairy event more because it felt like a community day.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, when the Clefairy event was happening, everybody was posting photos of their shiny Clefairy, and it absolutely felt like a community day. But the Ghosts was just, everybody was getting different ones. It wasn't quite the same.
Yeah, it's like not the worst thing ever. It was just kind of cool to kind of have that moment of like everyone kind of shiny hunting the same Pokemon and posting that. Obviously, shiny hunting isn't like the biggest thing in the world when it comes to Pokemon. Like shiny hunting is still very niche. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, what are you talking about? You're listening to a Pokemon podcast. You are already more hardcore than the average Pokemon fan. But
and Eevee is going to be one that people are, if it does have an outbreak event, Eevee would be a very exciting one. People would love to shiny hunt that.
Oh yeah, I'm like, when you think about like Pokemon that bring people back to the game, like it was undoubtedly like Greninja was so popular. So many people came back for Greninja. Mewtwo was like insanely popular. And you just saw people talking about like wanting to get it too hard, too easy, like need help. Like, I just want to get this Mewtwo. I would assume anything Eevee related, outbreak wise, would be huge for people to come back. And it's like Eevee's a cool one too, because like with Clefairy, it's like, well, I got 2. I guess I keep one as Clefairy, and then I evolve one to Clefable. But with Eevee, it's like, I want to get all 18, so I could have every Terra type, and then get another 9 times. What? Wait, what is? Hold on. How many Eevees could you get of every Terra type?
So many.
So you have one of every Terra type that you can evolve into one of every evolution?
Yeah, that would be so many. I was sitting here thinking that Eevee doesn't have hats in Pokemon Go, so you don't need as many shinies as you need in Pokemon Go, but it does have hats. It has the Terra hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what, 162 Eevees? So you did 162 shiny Eevee?
Yeah.
Easy
that would
done.
be...
Easy. One weekend, you're done.
That would be a cool challenge. Was this 2018? Was that Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee? I think that was the same year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it? It was. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good game.
It's okay.
It was Kanto.
Yeah, but the Ekans had a really good follow animation compared to
Yeah,
BDSP.
that they've never replicated since. November 16th, 2018. Let's go, Pikachu. Let's go, Eevee.
I don't actually know if there was anything Eevee related for Cafe Mix. I think there's like a Fido event happening in Cafe Mix right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fido, there's a Fido event in South Korea right now. I didn't put this on the show notes, but their department store in South Korea, which is called, I think, Latte. I think it's Lotte. They'll have little kiosks for Scarlet and Violet to promote the what is the DLC? It's not the double pack. It's the DLC pack or whatever. It's the physical version with the physical DLC minus half the DLC isn't on the cartridge.
Yeah.
For, reasons.
For reasons. Because
Bad timing.
Yeah,
I wonder
bad
if they're
timing.
going to try to put one out that has both, like, right before Christmas.
If they were to put an updated retail version that had both on, I would consider buying it for collecting purposes. But right now, it's worthless.
Eventually, they'll probably update it. I feel like over time, if something keeps being on shelves, they put in the updates.
Yeah. But anyways, if you're in South Korea, you can go into the Lotte department store, find the kiosk. There should be a little Fido. It's like a level 5 Fido and a Cherish Ball. And then it comes with a mark. I don't remember which mark it is, but to people who like to collect Cherish Ball Pokemon.
So they're not selling Fido-shaped bread.
I mean, are they? Did I miss this news?
No, it's just...
Hold on. Do I need to book a flight to South Korea right now?
They've had a bread event before, right? In South Korea?
Did. Yes. There's a lot of bakeries in South Korea. They do like their bread there. I was like, wait, hold on. Let me check Delta real quick. Let me get some Fido bread. That sounds awesome. I think that's it. I think that's all we have for Eevee. So, well, I guess when we get closer to Happy Eevee Day, we can say Happy Eevee Day. Okay. Well, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll have some more Pokemon news. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Before we get to the longer conversation of this episode, which revolves around money, just a quick heads up: the Sitting Cuties have been restocked at Pokémon Center. There's your breaking news.
Breaking news.
Well, also involving money.
Restocked.
They're twice the price that they used to be, aren't they?
Some of them went up.
Yeah,
at one point they were all like $12. Now some of them are like pushing $14, $15.
I thought they were 20 something.
What?
Maybe I'm wrong.
That would be the real breaking news. No, some are more expensive. The more complicated ones, like I think Salamence was a little bit like it was like $3 more than Shelgon was. But like, why are you buying Salamence? Shelgon is the better. It was like Shelgon is literally just a ball with eyes. Like that's the one you should purchase.
Yeah,
Greg's
there are
thinking
some
about
that are $12.
No,
There are some that are 18.
18 for a Sitting Cutie?
17. $17.
I don't think 17 makes it better. No, there's whoever from the Pokemon Company who listens to the podcast. I know you do. Do you remember the Moo Moo Milk wooden thing that came out for Christmas like 3 years ago? It was $20.
Yep.
I have it. It's kind of like slightly tacky. Like I don't know where in the house I would put it where it would make sense. Some people would be like, "Oh, the kitchen," but it's like, sure. They did new ones this year. There's like a Pseudo Widow one.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. When I bought the Miltank one, it was $20, which is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Something to put on the wall, $20. The Pseudo Widow one and whatever the other one is $40.
Yeah. Inflation.
And if you compare the two together, like pull up both pages, it's the same. It's the same dimensions. It's the same material. It is literally double the price. And it's insane to me. Because I think the Moo Moo Milk one is the best one. Because you could have it up all year long, because it's just like, get your milk, and you're like, oh, look, it's in the kitchen. Or maybe you have like a weird like milk themed bathroom. Actually, that's not weird. That's awesome. If you have a milk themed bathroom, that sounds great.
It's
actually
weird.
It's weird. No, that's
but also awesome. Don't let these two discourage your milk themed dreams, listener.
What? Wait, was the Moo Moo Milk thing a wooden sign, or was that a tray?
No, it was a sign. It's the same as the Pseudo Widow.
Okay.
They did have like a Moo Moo Milk bottle and plate collection, which at the time was only $15, and that sold out like instantly. Also, they were not dishwasher safe. I learned the hard way on that. They were also not cat food safe. Like, I put wet cat food on it.
Oh.
And it like the cat food ate away at the design.
Sounds like they weren't food safe.
Yeah, no, I don't think they were food safe.
All right, I'm looking.
I bought
at
two at the time.
Sign. Hold on. Oh man, sold out. Oh yeah, Moo Moo Milk Pokemon Holiday and Home sign, 1999.
Yep. And the Pseudo Widow one is $40.
$39.99.
I understand inflation. I understand everything's expensive. I also understand that I don't think the Pokemon Company is, specifically on the merchant side of things, is hurting for money. But also, like, if it was like 25 and not 20, it'd be like, yeah, 25% increase inflation. Double from 20 to 40 is outrageous.
Well, the back is different though.
But why does that matter? It goes on the wall.
But the back is different though.
Could be a stronger back.
The back. So the back in the other one says Pokemon made in China, 2020.
Uh-huh.
This one has a Pokeball, Pokémon Center, 2023, Pokemon Nintendo Creatures Game Freak made in China. So there's more words. All those words add up to the price. You're just not thinking about typography and how much that costs to put on the back of a wooden sign that you'll never see.
$2
but you'll
a
know
word?
it's there in your heart.
Creatures and Nintendo are thinking, every time we sell this Pseudo Widow piece of art, we can possibly put one more frame rate into the game.
You can have farm fresh trees up all around. Trees grow all season. People are cutting trees down.
Is that what it says? Farm fresh trees?
It does. Open daily.
You could be selling trees at any given time of the year.
I'm only giving you permission to buy that if you have a tree-themed bathroom.
What?
Then it's...
When are you the arbiter of what people can buy? Never is the answer. I'm now buying this out of spite, and I'm hanging it up in my nautical themed bathroom where it's all ships, and there'll be one sign about trees.
I would love to go pick up a Christmas tree and see that just hanging up on the side of the shack or wherever they're selling them.
Not even buy from those people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have my business.
You see a Pseudo Widow, you're happy.
Did we talk about the luxury ball being out? We did that last week. It's right there.
Yeah, luxury ball's out. It hasn't sold out. Saw $120, which I don't know if the $120 is inflation, because they have all been 100 up to this point, with the exception of the Master Ball, which was 120, but was limited to 5,000 in the US. That being said, it would make sense for the luxury ball to be more expensive.
Yeah, it's luxury.
Because it's luxury, it is more expensive in the game as well. So that, I don't know. I don't know if that's just capitalism at this point, or I will say that out of all of the Pokeballs, because this is like the 14th one I've purchased. Well, technically I didn't purchase one of them. One of them was gifted. I think it was the Love Ball or the Dive Ball or something. Anyways, my disclosure that sometimes I get free stuff. The luxury ball is a fingerprint magnet. It is so hard. Like, you can't even take that out of the box without it just sucking up every single fingerprint.
I was going to say, they made it much glossier than the other ones. it's really
That's the 20.
Yeah,
That was the
reflective.
$20.
It's luxurious.
And because it's glossy and because it's such a dark color, yeah, no, that's going to collect fingerprints.
Oh, also, again, owning all 14 now, the luxury ball has a different light up ring on the center. Greg probably, you don't have any of the other ones,
Nah.
right, Greg?
But I'm luxury ball only.
For the first 13, it was like this. You could just see like, oh, the light comes out of this ring that you set it into when you open it. And this one, they like made it glossy, so it looks a little bit better. It like, I think it diffuses the light a little bit better. So when you set the luxury ball, you get a little bit more light. So they did change it. The hinges on these boxes are still like the worst hinges in the entire world. I kind of want to put like some WD-40 or something and see if that anything helps. But then I'm also afraid of ruining it. But like,
yeah, no, just accept that. I mean,
accept that the hinge is bad.
How often are you going to really open it, though?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Is like, I think it looks better sitting on top of the box than having the box open. I don't know if they'll be able to see it in the YouTube, Greg. You get cropped.
Well, uncrop
at some
it.
point.
Uncrop it for 2 seconds.
Uncrop it for the specific pointing.
Yeah.
This is the last one. There are no more coming as of now. So unless
that we know of, right?
That we know of, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know when the next toy fair is, but the one that I think they haven't done Moonball. They haven't done Beast Ball, which I think would probably be one of the cooler ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would ever do Strange Ball, but man, I love the Strange Ball. I think the Strange Ball is so cool.
I want them to do the standard Hisuian Pokeball. I would love having a very high quality version of the standard Hisuian Pokeball.
There is the rock I think it's a polystone material of the Hisuian Pokeball on Pokemon Center. It's not the Wand Company.
Exist.
Yeah.
It's a totally different. It's just it's whatever It's probably the same company that makes the scam choo-choo train stuff that you can get.
Yep.
I know somebody who listens to the podcast who has like every part of that Pokemon train. Good for them. I wish it was a better material.
Yep.
I was so close to going all in on the train, but I was just not happy with the first.
I got the first one. It sits in my basement, never to be put out for Christmas ever.
Yeah, I think it's I don't really know what from last I read what polystone was a mixture of like rock and plastic and like granite. It's not like fully rock.
On the Pokemon Center page for the Pokeball replica figure, it just says resin, high quality resin. I feel like that made me less interested in it.
I think on the actual box that I received, it said polystone because I never heard that word before.
Polystone is an organic material made from cement, silica sand, water, stone powder, reinforced with polyester resin and polyfoam.
Got it.
Oh, there you go. Look, whether you bought the Wand Company or this polystone Pokeball, if somebody breaks into your house and you got a good arm, man, that thing will knock anyone out. It will put a hole in your wall. I don't think people realize when they comment on like my TikToks or my shorts of these, like they're heavy.
They are heavy.
I think I looked up what a pool ball weighs because I would say a pool ball is pretty heavy. Like you don't want to get hit by a pool ball either.
No,
yeah.
It doesn't.
And I'm pretty sure this is twice as heavy as a pool ball from what I
Whoa.
looked. I could be misremembering. It was a long time ago, and I was like, "How heavy is a pool ball?"
A billiard ball is 6 ounces.
Yeah, and I think these are like 12.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because a pound is 16 ounces. It's not quite a pound.
Do I
The
need
luxury
to go weigh
ball
mine?
is
Do we need to take a
1.3.
break?
The luxury ball is 1.3 pounds.
Oh yeah,
Wait, what?
it's
At
heavy.
least, that might be including the box. That's probably
But the
including
box
the box.
is
The
the
box
box
is
is like the
nothing.
cheapest piece of
The box weighs negative at this point. It's so.
There was also a point where they like switched. I think right now, if you were to buy the Pokeball, I think it comes in a black box, but mine came in like a gray box. They like switched the boxes at some point.
You got the original.
Yeah, I did get the original. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of money, I lost my show notes. We're let's talk about the economic impact. Yeah, this I'm really making you guys excited for this next segment. Niantic put out a press release of saying that Pokemon GO Fest delivers more than $300 million in economic impact globally. Now, if you're like, what does that actually mean? It means that these IRL events bring a ton of money to the cities they go into, which would then mean that more companies would want to, or so more cities / countries, I'm not actually sure at what level that goes down to, would want to bid on these because they make money. Like tourism brings in money, and then that makes their economy better. So this was published on November 9th. Niantic says here, across New York, London, Osaka, Pokemon GO Fest generated a combined $323 million for local economies. Okay, so that just end a disclosure here. This is not saying that Pokemon Go made $323 million. It is saying these cities specifically made this money outside of Go. So whether that's like somebody buying bus fare or hotels or food or being a tourist and going to a museum, it's bringing in that money. Inclusive of $73.8 million in tax revenues, according to a report conducted by Statista. Statista. Oh, that sounds way better.
Yeah, it's
kind of sounds like Batista.
Statista.
What's more exciting is that these figures translate into actual expenses. That means 194,000 people connected with Pokemon Go during those weekends. In comparison, the 2023 UEFA Championship League final is that soccer? What is a
UEFA Champions League is an annual club association football competition. So yes,
Yeah,
soccer.
Soccer, okay. Brings an projected economic boost of $80 million to host in the city of Istanbul. Eurovision, boosted by Liverpool, brought in $66.2 million. And Taylor Swift, oh boy, I didn't think that. I think we'd be talking.
You picked the article.
I did.
The article was put out by Niantic.
I just want to look. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, I'm not saying that she doesn't bring in a lot of money, but statistically, she ain't bringing in the same amount of money as Pokemon Go.
In one particular city. This is only
Kansas
referencing
City.
Taylor Swift's tour in Kansas City.
In Kansas, the metropolitan.
This is not exactly a fair comparison.
Of Kansas City. Kansas City gets tens of tourists every year. Don't
so in
be
Kansas
outdone
City,
by London or New York. No. You want to go to Kansas City this year. Kansas, where nothing
Kansas
happens.
City, Taylor Swift brought in $48 million to the local economy. Hey, so if you were to break down the Pokemon Go, that's $100 million per event. So what we're saying is Pokemon Go needs to get on the Taylor Swift schedule and just keep hitting city after city.
They're probably trying.
Yeah, Niantic would probably love that, actually. Randall's Island Park in New York City on August 18th had an economic boost of $140 million and $28 million in tax revenue. This is a quote from them. New York's cities is the world's largest stage when it comes to live events. The Niantic team proved to be a great partner in our efforts to bring Pokemon Go Fest to the 5 boroughs this past summer. And the results of the economic impact study speak for themselves, said Fred Dixon, president and CEO of New York City Tourism Plus Conventions. Quote, the event created an opportunity to showcase the city to players and fans around the world. 21% was the first time visiting New York. We look forward to bringing them back to New York City again in the future. Randall Island Park Alliance was thrilled to have Pokemon Go make its appearance at the park this summer, said Deborah Maher, president of Randall's Island. Oh, dang, Randall Island has their own president? The overwhelming engagement and excitement of these attendees were wonderful to witness. We are grateful to the community and fans that made Pokemon Go Fest 2023 a success, and we welcome them back in the future.
All right. I am going to poke a small hole into this by reading you these 2 paragraphs. Analysts estimate that the Taylor Swift Eras Tour will likely surpass $1 billion internationally. It will hold the current record of $939 million in the United States and is projected to generate close to $5 billion in consumer spending in the United States alone.
Once again, though, not a fair comparison. One of these is a few cities, and one of those is many, many cities across the entire country.
If they're going to say, listen to us, we have 3 cities for 300 million, and they're going to drag Taylor Swift for Kansas City. Let's talk about the billions of dollars internationally this woman does. She has a bigger economy than like 50 countries at this point.
Yeah, what we're saying is if Pikachu is on her
Pokemon
schedule,
Go or Taylor Swift in our city, you're going to go with Taylor Swift. Like,
I don't know.
Unless you're Kansas City, apparently.
This is here for the listener. Taylor Swift related, whether you like her or not. I was downtown Minneapolis when Taylor Swift was about to perform. I was on my one wheel. There's a lot of bike paths downtown. I like to go across the old Stone Arch Bridge on the one wheel.
Can't
Very
anymore.
good. Can't anymore. Yeah, they're closing that down. But this is what I witnessed. I watched a man out of nowhere wheel a giant cart of pink hats onto the street. And that man made so much money in seconds. He probably ordered a mass amount of pink cowboy hats from Amazon. And this man was selling them at like $25 a pop. And the line to buy pink hats were just as long as the line to get into the US Bank Stadium. It was insane how many girlies and the few men there wanted to get a pink hat.
So it was this was a double whammy because Taylor Swift was here over Pride weekend. So the pink hat sold across multiple events.
Yeah, once everyone goes into US Bank, you just push it over to Pride.
Yeah, I mean, there were a ton of Pride people downtown who would want a pink hat. There were a ton of Taylor Swift people down. There was a huge crossover between people who attended Pride and people who went to Taylor Swift. It was a whole cultural thing that weekend.
There was side story, when I was in Seattle last year for Pokemon GO Fest, there was so prior to Pokemon GO Fest starting, I don't know if anyone's been to the like Seattle Center where the Space Needle is. There's a bunch of like musical performers, like with their violin or with their drums or whatever. You know, you pay for that spot, right? Like you pay for your time spot to play some music and have people throw change and whatever into your thing, right? And one of the locals there that I met up with said that this guy on the violin has been practicing Pokemon songs for like the last month in preparation of Go Fest.
That's amazing.
And I was there a couple days early because Niantic, that was the one that Niantic paid for me and flew me out to. And so I saw this guy like doing like Pokemon songs on his violin. When Go Fest started, he had a paper sign up saying, "I'm not allowed to play Pokemon music. Sorry."
Oh.
I don't know if it was Niantic or if it was Pokemon or if it was Nintendo. Because legally he had the right to be in the park because he paid for that that spot. But I don't know what happened, but this man was practicing Pokemon songs for a couple of weeks, and then when the event started, he was not allowed to play Pokemon songs. He was very good at the violin, though.
Get wrecked for copyright infringement, I guess.
I'm sure he still made out very well that weekend with the thousands of Pokemon
the
players.
sign is good also for sympathy money. I'd be like,
Mhm.
oh, here's a couple of bucks. Boy.
Maybe no one talked to him. It was just reverse psychology. I think somebody talked to him.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Okay, so the cool thing about this article is we actually found out how many people went to each event. So that's pretty cool. So New York had an economic boost of $140 million, which is a lot of money. Take that, Taylor Swift, Kansas City, with $28 million of tax revenue. 74,000 tickets were sold, with 58% being between 27 and 44 years old, which is actually crazy to think about. I've talked about this before when I've gone to multiple Go Fest or Safari zones, whether that's in Korea, Japan, Seattle, Chicago. There are kids there, but not as many as you would think. I don't know if Hannah could speak to New York if you saw oodles of kids.
I don't think there were oodles and oodles of kids, but also I am under 27 at the moment.
You're the 42%.
Get wrecked.
You're the 42.
So I am in that, yes. I don't think there were a ton of kids. There were definitely some, but it was mostly adults.
Yeah. Well, anytime I do see like parents with like strollers and stuff, it feels like the kids are just like very over it after like 2 or 3 hours. They're like,
this is the problem. Like watching parents bring their kids through Gen Con, the same thing. They were done 5 minutes after hitting that crowd. And I'm like, good luck. You're got dead weight at this point because they stopped caring and they just want to go home.
Yeah. So the average visitor spent $783, which that seems cheap in New York.
That does seem cheap in New York. That's that's the cost of the hotel. At least.
Yeah. 21% was of attendees were the first time attending New York, which is actually a crazy statistic. Although there's a lot of people who have not been to New York, so it's expensive. 35 million Pokemon were caught during New York Go Fest. The average attendee walked 18 miles. I don't know if that was like all weekend, because I feel like I walk like 10-ish miles a day for Go Fest. Well,
yeah, I feel like we walked 15 miles a day. I walk 15 miles a day.
But I guess there are a lot of people that maybe just like sit and play for quite a long time and maybe only do like a mile. So
and
maybe,
only go to the park and walk around only in the park.
Right, yeah. London. That was in Brockwell Park. It had a economic impact of $55.9 million, $26.8 million in tax revenue. That event had 50,000 people travel and play throughout the city. 62% of attendees came outside of the UK to participate in the event, which is crazy. 60% of those attendees were between 25 and 44. I think the reason Niantic highlights that specific, like, why are they highlighting older people? It's because they spend more money, right? Like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old would need their parents' permission, and they're probably not spending as much as an adult with their own money, making their own decisions.
Well, they had to widen the age range in this one.
They did, yeah. Each visitor average spent $522, and 49% of attendees said that they would visit London again in the next year. And then we go to Osaka Go Fest. This is the one I was at. This brought in $38 million and $11.6 million in tax revenue. This had 60,000 trainers attend the 3-day event at the Expo 70 commemorative park. I think it would probably be higher if the yen wasn't so garbage right now. Like the yen is so terrible, and it's like not getting any better. Good for American. If you're American going there, your dollar is very, very strong. But like as a whole, it's not good when nothing translates to the yen very well. Osaka attendees spent $11.7 million on shopping. The average visitor spent $335 for that weekend. 78% of the people who attended were from Japan. 2% of people came from the United States. Well, they said primarily the United States. I remember taking the survey. And I was like, why am I giving Niantic whatever? I was on a train. I was like, I guess I'll take the survey. 21 million Pokemon were caught during Go Fest Osaka. And yeah, so now we know how many people attended these events and how much money it made. You know, whether or not you like Pokemon Go, it's very cool that these events do well still. It's very cool that these events bring people to cities. I don't think this is not like an Olympic problem where the Olympics ruins cities.
I am curious what the economic, environmental, etc. impact is, because they aren't mentioning that, and that is like the dirty secret of the Olympics. Like Olympics will say we made $8 billion, but it cost the city like $20 billion to handle everything. So I'm always curious whenever they put things out like this. I'm like, okay, but what is it costing the city?
And what is it costing the people in the city is another question there. This is an article that is put out by Niantic. This article is on Niantic's website. It is using statistics from a company commissioned by Niantic. This is the thing that they send to cities when they want to say, hey, we want to do an event in your city. We make so much money.
It's a little propaganda-y, a little bit. I mean, it's a lot of marketing, right? Like, you know, I won't blame them for marketing. I'm sure the economic boon is great. We do have an example of another large event that is not so great. It is the Olympics. The difference here being, in general, they don't have to build something to house Pokemon Go, right? Like, the biggest problem with the Olympics is they build all of these stadiums and these incredible things that then go empty and unused forever in a lot of cases. But like the environmental impacts and just the impacts of having a huge influx of people come in at one point of time does cost money, which they are not talking about in this article. I doubt it is as bad as the Olympics. It is probably the cost of doing business the same as when there is a Super Bowl brought into your town, right? Like, Super Bowl generates a lot of money, but also you can't ignore the damage that many people do to a city. Like, this is the wildest thing. So the Super Bowl was in Minnesota, and all of these people flew here not understanding how cold it was. So hundreds of people, like thousands of people, went around and bought all of these winter coats up, so there were none left for anything else. Volunteer groups went through all the hotel rooms and picked up thousands of abandoned coats because they
didn't want to take them back.
They didn't want to take them home, so they bought them, wore them for the game, and just left them in the room. Thousands and thousands and thousands of coats just left everywhere because they were flying back to Florida or Texas, where they would never use them. So they didn't even bother to donate them. They just left them in the hotel rooms. And I know people who went around hotel to hotel to be like, we will gather up all of your now used, can't be resold winter clothing that was used for 3 days and distribute them out the best we can through all the charitable organizations. And like, those are like the weird hidden things that happen when large events happen in your city. So like, I'm curious to see from a city, like how much did it cost you to put in here? What were the hidden costs of hosting this? What's the hidden cost of having a ton of people? Like 10 times the foot traffic in a park, right? Like there's grounds that have to be kept up. There's trees that have to be dealt with. There's people who don't read signs
The
like
Pika
stay
trash.
off the grass. There's trash. There's people who damage stuff just because they're people. So like it's cool that they make this much money, but I'm just absolutely in my brain curious. What is the cost of the city to house this? Like what's the profit margin that they're seeing?
I feel like it's probably still a pretty good profit margin.
It probably is.
Oh yeah, I think back to the Las Vegas event, which right now there's problems with the F1 race that has been being reported. But I still think Las Vegas screwed over Niantic because I talked about this, and I know GoCast, they talked about it as well. That park was like under construction, and there was a giant mountain of dirt because they were trying to build something. And they had, this is not an exaggeration, they had to put a security guard on the pile of dirt, this huge mountain of rocks, because not kids, grown adults were climbing this mountain of rocks to stand up there, and it was dangerous, so they had to position a security guard. But I went through all the pictures of this park because you get there and you're like, what's happening? Why is there so much dirt? Why is there so much construction? And you go back to the pictures, and it's like they advertised it as like this beautiful like Las Vegas park, just like minutes away from the strip. It's minutes away if there is no traffic. No traffic in Vegas does not exist. You could probably walk faster to the Vegas Strip than sitting in a car. So I do kind of think like, did Vegas kind of lie about like this beautiful park, and then Niantic was like, oh, I guess, I mean, we're already here.
I doubt they lied about it. I guarantee you in the time that they signed the paperwork, the construction started. I'm sure they just didn't say also during that time frame we'll be doing construction on the park. I'm sure they sold it as a complete park, and then we're like, well, we just need to start this project.
Well, it should be. It was probably it'll be done by then.
Yeah.
And then it was never done. Like that park was like, it had 4 like zones or areas or whatever, and like 2 of them were nice, and then the other 2 were like separated by this just giant rock pile where like they were building kind of like a river to go through, but there was no water. It was just like very awkward to be back there because it was like it just didn't feel like a park. It felt like a construction site back there. Which again, no fault to Niantic. I'm sure they showed up a week before to set stuff up and was like, oh, there's thing. Oh, how do we make this good? Whatever. I'm curious if these numbers, like, I only heard good things about the New York experience, which is surprising because there was like 1 ferry to get to Randall's Island, and there's like 1 bridge to get to Randall's Island.
There were shuttles that I think some people used, and I don't know if it's only good things. There was the whole Verizon crashing.
Oh yeah, Verizon going out for like 2 hours or something.
It was more than 2 hours, but yeah.
More good things than the Vegas event.
Yes, that's for sure. Vegas, by the overall Pokemon Go community, is still seen as a failure.
I don't know what people expected from Vegas, really. I mean, the minute I heard it in Vegas, I was like, lower your expectations. It's Vegas.
Vegas is a city that will bid. They want tourism.
Oh, that's all they can do. They're in the middle of a desert. What else is there but to bring people in to spend money, get them drunk, and fleece them? That's the Vegas motto. They made a death laser for crying out loud.
Was the Vegas earlier this year? I can't. This year has been a nightmare to me.
It was this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. It was.
If you look at 2023 for Vegas, they fought for so much tourism compared to other cities, in my opinion. I'm curious if New York will want Pokemon Go to come back. originally when the Pokemon Go stuff started, Chicago did sign a 3-year agreement. That's why it was there for 3 years. Who knows where it was supposed to be after Chicago, because COVID happened at that point. So who knows if it was supposed to be New York or it was supposed to be back in Chicago or somewhere else. I think Seattle was incredibly successful when I was there. In Japan, it does seem to move around a bit, but
in the
again,
article, there is the person saying we look forward to welcoming them back to NYC again in the future.
Yeah, so I think the only people maybe upset about it being in New York is probably West Coast people, because that is a long flight for them.
Or anyone who has trouble with the costs, because New York is an expensive city to go to.
Yeah, it is an expensive city. I mean, Chicago's not any cheaper, and it was in Chicago. Seattle's also a pretty expensive city. Yeah, I don't know what other cities would want to fight for that, but I would expect more safari zones and more of these events next year. So
yeah,
I guess the first one will be in
Taiwan. I want to see more city safaris. I would love to see if they do city safaris across the US at some point.
Yeah, that would be cool. So, well, I think that's our show. Unless it sounds like neither of you did Garchomp, which you didn't miss out too much on.
I just didn't do more than 2.
I just said I was chomping around the Twin Cities. Chomp, 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 chomp. It was incredible. I tapped on my phone the things with the people, and I fought.
I will say, I tried to use Campfire. Sorry, you fought.
Greg didn't play any Garchomp. He's just rambling.
You chomped all across the city.
I chomped. Look, I was chomping. Everybody had to watch out for how hard I was chomping. You have no clue.
I will say, I really tried to use Campfire to get people together, because I was really looking to try and find a group of people in my neighborhood. I really wanted to do more Garchomp, because I don't think I could have soloed it. I didn't try, even with my team that I put together. I don't understand. So at first you used to go into the chat and set a flare when there was a raid you wanted to bring people to. But now there's the whole team up thing, which seems to be separate. And it seems like when you start a team up thing, it doesn't do the same thing as a flare. And now they have 2 seemingly conflicting things in this app, neither of which worked.
I still can't get Campfire to work.
And so I was doing the team up, I was doing the flare, I was going and sitting in the lobby again and again and again, just waiting. Yeah, trying to see if I could draw anybody over there to do a Garchomp with me. But no.
Well, I went to Mall America, and every Garchomp filled to 20 instantly without me talking to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I did learn the strategy was not to get there at 2. The strategy was to get there at 2:45. Do all the Garchomps in 15 minutes, and then right at 3 o'clock, they all reset and you do them again. And
it's
then you
amazing
leave.
How your strategy for that day is also the strategy when you're supposed to be meeting us up with us at 2, and you're like, I'm 5 minutes away, and 2:45 you wander into the mall.
Yeah, well, at least in this time, I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes because no one knows. These tourists, I tell you, no one knows how to drive in and out of Mall America. You just go to the very top. That's all you got to do. But people are like, and Mall America parking, for anyone that doesn't know, they have numbers. They will tell you how many spots are left.
Yeah.
Like literally the second floor will say like 3 spots left. And people will be like, oh, I got to find those. You're not going to find those 3 spots, because I guarantee you they're all double parked. There's not 3 spots left. Just go to the top where it says 400 spots left and just park. It's fine.
They have elevators everywhere.
4-story mall that has skyways and elevators. You will instantly be inside. You don't need to be on the second. Also, the second floor is bad. It's the worst floor out of all of them.
Second floor, the cream filling is terrible of the 2 Oreo cookies.
We did miss this bit of news here. Fashion Week returns for some snazzy looking Pokemon. Gothita will make its shiny Gothita will make its Pokemon Go debut. Dragonite wearing a bow tie.
Ooh.
And glasses.
And glasses. But not on his eyes, on his head.
Forehead.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you put
Wooper
glasses.
wearing a beanie. They call it a fashionable costume. I call it a beanie. There will be new items on. There will be select items on sale for Fashion Week. 2 times the candy for catching Pokemon. The Pikachu with the summer hat and glasses is returning, which is kind of crazy. It's been a while since that Pikachu
Yeah.
has been back. Diglett wearing a top hat, Wooper wearing a beanie, Curlgunk wearing a backwards cap, Gothita with no fashion items at all. It can just be shiny. Frillish, Furfrou, and Marini are spawning in the wild.
It is highly offensive that Gothita, with incredible fashionable bows already on, is listed as not having any fashion. Gothita is fashion.
Absol wearing, I think they're sunglasses, could spawn in the wild. Diglett, Wooper, Sneasel with a hat and glasses, and then Furfrou are all 1-star raids. Butterfree, the Butterfree with a bow, is returning. Dragonite, Curlia, and Absol all in 3-star raids. These are all costumes. It doesn't say that Dragonite is spawning in the wild, so if you want Dragonite with a bow tie, your only option is 3-star raids. Eggs, Pichu with the hat and glasses will be in the 5K eggs.
That's going to be a chase.
What bizarre genetics happened in that egg to have that creature born naturally with a hat and glasses?
So 5K eggs will have Pichu with a hat, Wooper with a hat, Smoochum with a bow, Shinx with a hat, and then Gothita. It is saying here that Gothita from eggs will have a higher chance of being shiny. We know not to trust Niantic at their words, but that's what they're saying.
I think the Smoochum that can hatch is also a new costume.
Which one is?
The Smoochum
with the bow?
Mm-hmm.
No, Smoochum and the bow has been before.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because I got one from Zoe. I traded her one because
there are too many costume Pokemon at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot. Field research is Butterfree, Diglett, Wooper, Curlia, Shinx, and Blitzel. So the only chance of getting Blitzel would be from field research. Blitzel has like a weird collar thing on. I don't know what it's called. Necklace. If you complete the collection challenge, you will have an encounter with Dragonite. And here the clothing's actually kind of good. What the heck? So clothing will be Gothita top, Gothita pants. Oh, sorry, not Gothita, Gothitelle. Gothitelle shoes, Reuniceless top, Reuniceless boots, hooded denim jacket, denim pants. And then the showcase will be either Gothita or Marini, or the showcase will just be random because it's been like 2 months and Niantic is just like, the showcase will be this, and then last minute it's just Squirtle because I don't know how it doesn't work. The showcases are constantly like
they couldn't figure out how to deal with Pokemon that had different forms. So Wooper with the 2 different forms and Growlithe with the 2 different forms, they can't make that work for some reason.
Also, Pumpkaboo got canceled because
Pumpkaboo has a bunch of different forms. So all of their showcases.
Yeah, so like Wooper Community Day was just Squirtle. But Squirtle has different forms. They have Squirtle and then Squirtle with glasses. And Squirtle with a hat.
Those aren't different Pokédex-based forms, though. That's the same Pokemon with the same stats with a costume.
Okay.
Yeah, that's slightly different. And I do feel like they have leaned more into designing avatar items in the last few events. They had good avatar items for the Halloween event. They have at least very thorough avatar items for this event, and they had a couple of good shirts for the Diwali Festival of Lights event.
Well, because you can actually see them now.
This game needs an entire character redesign.
I mean, yeah.
I thought it was gonna happen.
Yeah, but then
I thought
200
so
and
too.
some odd people got laid off, so that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I thought there was a character redesign coming, but party play probably brought more people back into I don't know. I'm just making things up. Usually in games, new features bring more people in than fixing existing things in the game, because new features sound way cooler than we fixed that one bug that 4 people had.
Unless the bug is
okay.
ruining everyone's gameplay, which there are just a lot of bugs. So it's not one bug.
I can't wait for summer of 2025 when showcases are finally fixed and you can put Wooper in properly.
And routes are finally fixed, and party play is finally fixed. And
not me trying to follow my own route I created and it not picking it up and me having to walk back 10 minutes to restart it. That was a fun experience. All right, well, we'll be back next week. Again, keep an eye out for any Eevee news in regards to Scarlet and Violet. Or if they don't do Eevee for whatever reason, I would assume it would be Samurott, or maybe they do Eevee and Samurott. I don't know. Maybe they don't do anything.
Samurott wearing an Eevee hoodie.
Ooh, that sounds actually pretty awesome.
We're past Halloween.
Yeah.
That has not stopped them before.
True.
Otherwise, we are about a month out from the DLC, so we'll start gearing up for that whenever they decide to release some more information. Who knows? But thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Greg. If you're listening on YouTube, wait, what was the comment before? Greg said something earlier. Comment below. Comment below whether you have a themed bathroom. My parents had a rooster themed bathroom at one point. They had like rooster hand towels, and then they had like rooster paintings, and then they had like a rooster toilet seat cover, which toilet seat covers are gross, by the way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, y'all didn't live in the 70s shag carpeting era of toilet seat covers and toilet seat backs.
Those have lasted longer in Japan, I have experienced.
Yeah. But there's kind of a lot to unpack in a rooster themed bathroom.
And then like when you do the hand soap, it came out of like a rooster.
Yeah, I already have to go to therapy for that one, because that's...
Anyways, if you or your parents or your grandmother has a themed bathroom, I would like to know about it in the comments below. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a review. It really helps out, especially with the DLC coming out. The reviews help more people find the show, obviously. But thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Greg. We will be back next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super. Maybe we're all going to go to Topalo this time to get that new Onyx?